Coming to you live above the Heineken River Deck here at Pier 17, New York City. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Anthony Rose. Amidst all of the new players on new teams, there were some teams that just doubled down on the players they already had. One of those are the Atlanta Hawks, who have committed to that man, Trae Young, who brought them to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Jalen, what do you think about the 5-year, $207 million extension for Trae Young?
So it now becomes a pecking order on paper in particular. To me, it's the Nets, the Bucks, and the Heat. And so the teams that had success this year, for various reasons, but we're going to make sure we credit Trae Young for his outstanding play and basically putting the league on notice and putting on the show in the playoff. You know how much I love his game and love the Hawks. And also Julius Randle, who was this year's most improved player. An all-NBA caliber performer. Those two teams, the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, they now become the second tier of the East. What's going to happen with the Indiana Pacers? They just added Rick Carlisle. They're going to make some moves. And so now those handful of teams become the second tier. Injuries, COVID, players having breakout years, all of that matters. But Trae Young going to get his money.
Yep.
You know, but don't sleep. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got a bag too.
He did.
Now they're asked to do two different things.
Well, I feel good for Trae Young and I feel good for the Hawks because he will always be linked to Luka Doncic because of draft night. Like, he will always have this thing, well, he's not Luka. And he proved last year that, you know what? I might not be Luka. I might not be a future MVP, but I'm a superstar in this league and I can carry a team in the playoffs to 7-game series win.
That's why they're going to need Hunter and Cam Reddish, two guys that were lottery picks, to take a leap. You're going to need one of them to take a leap next year. Because if you look at the dynamics of their perimeter play, you got to not only be athletic at that position and have the ability to score, but, man, there's some monsters coming to town every night that they got to play against.
Absolutely. Well, they solidified their point guard position, as did the NBA Finals Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns. They solidified Chris Paul. He signed a 4-year, $120 million deal. That's a long, expensive deal for an older player in the NBA.
But for Chris Paul, you're paying for what you're going to get on and off the floor. And I wouldn't be surprised if when he got done playing that he continued to work within the franchise. That just seems like a Chris Paul type of extension, so to speak, in particular based on his relationship with Monty Williams and just the quality of a person that he is. Now, the Phoenix Suns probably won't be getting to the finals again in those 4 years.
Probably not.
But that don't mean not sign Chris Paul, because you still have Devin Booker. You still want to develop Ayton. You want to get some more size with Ayton. That's why you add JaVale McGee, because that got exposed during the playoffs. They needed another big. But then you want Bridges to continue to take a leap. You want Cam Johnson to take a leap. You bring back Cam Payne and hope he's going to play some of those minutes, answer some of those games if Chris Paul is not able to go or he's out because of load management. So this is a smart deal for the Suns, no surprise.
He's going to be making around $30 million as a 40-year-old basketball player, Mr. Rose.
That's the game now, fam. And you know, I always tell people, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you have the leverage to negotiate. And for these NBA players, when you see the kind of money that they're now being made, imagine thinking about what the team is worth or thinking about what the owner's worth. These players are under, you ready for these two words? A salary cap. Think about that. This money is salary capped. We've seen baseball players get this kind of money since the beginning of the time.
Of course. Now, Jalen, one of the teams that Chris Paul was rumored to be going to was the New York Knicks. He did not go to the Knicks. They ended up overpaying Evan Fournier. They had so much cap space. And as a die-easy Knicks fan, I do not love what they did yesterday.
So here's what's going to happen this year with the Knicks. They're not going to be as good record-wise as they were last year because the East is just flat out better. That's why. It's not because their team isn't as good.
They brought back Rose, Burks, and Noel.
It's because the competition is going to be better. The Nets are going to be healthy. You anticipate, right? The Bucks are the defending champions. We just talked about the Heat. We just talked about the tiers of the other teams. So it's only right to me to do this kind of move. And you say, don't take care of Fournier. Let me tell you something, sir. When he got to Boston, he caught COVID. Before he got to Boston in Orlando and wherever he's been, he's going to get you almost 20 points per game. And so now you got guys like Derrick Rose, and you have Quickly. You hope to develop R.J. Barrett, and you keep Randall, obviously, and you bring back Mitchell Robinson. You continue to invest in the core group of young, and Nerlens Noel. You continue to invest in these young guys with Tibbs, because with effort, and they're going to play hard, they're going to still have a season that you're going to be excited about. You're still going to be excited about the Knicks next season.
I'll be going to the games. I'll be excited. But I'm not as excited as I thought I was going to be after free agency when they had the most salary cap space and they ended up with Evan Fournier and when they had.
He's a bucket, dog.
Jalen, Team USA is going to be playing the Boomers, the Australian team. Team USA beat Spain, so they are now advancing. Do you remember when I told you they wouldn't lose another game, they're going to win the gold medal? Remember when I said that?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
But you know what? I can't front. When you said, remember what I said, hey, I almost got concussed. Like, I've been doing this for so very long. When you said you remember what I said, I thought you were talking about when you said the Lakers were old, and I thought about Marc Gasol. Because him and Powell had 0 points in that game. So remember that Marc Gasol, when y'all start talking about the Lakers next season, he's playing right now.
I think I could beat Marc Gasol in the foot race.
He's playing right now.
I could beat Marc Gasol
and shout out to Ricky
race.
Rubio, who was about their ball, and he had 38. His NBA career high is 34.
I haven't seen Marc Gasol sprint in a decade. I really haven't. Congratulations to Team USA. I have them winning the gold medal as I have
Shout
the whole
to KD.
time. I never doubted you, Team USA. I never doubted you.
But also, shout to Spencer Haywood, who had that team record for Team USA for decades and didn't shoot the 3 ball.
Jalen, all I want to talk about is the locks and dipsets in there.
Dipset,
in Madison Square Garden.
Dipset
versus the locks. We'll wrap up free agency and
we gon' make it.
Dipset locks tonight.
We gon' make it. We gon' make it.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Free agency is officially here. There has been some major moves. Jalen, did the Lakers reach out to you about playing for the veteran minimum?
Not yet, but Rob Pelinka's number is in my phone.
They're probably
Stay
about
tuned.
to. They're probably
Stay
about
tuned.
to. But we start the show with Kyle Lowry, who got paid by the Miami Heat. They also added PJ Tucker, re-signed Duncan Robinson. Where do these moves put the Heat in the pecking order of the Eastern Conference in your mind?
So it put the Heat in position to give Pat Riley, the Godfather, one last run at a title contending team. And you know I've affectionately called them the Miami Mafia for almost 2 decades now. He's not going to just allow the Nets to have a big 3 and Giannis to win a ring and then not make moves in the offseason.
Hold on.
That ring bells.
This is a title contending team? This Miami Heat team is a title contending team with Butler, Adebayo, Lowry, and Robinson?
They signed 4 of their 5 starters yesterday. That's putting all of your chips in the middle of the table. And here's what I want you to always pay attention to. Injuries happen. Players having bad seasons happen. And now when you're in the Miami Heat, you're in the conversation of if you can play your best basketball, who's their coach? Who's the Miami Heat?
Eric Spoelstra.
Okay, so if I was drafting all of the coaches in the NBA, that would be my guy. I've seen him do everything. I've seen him coach a big 3 with LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. I've seen him rebuild a roster with D. Wade. I'm seeing him rebuild this team with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Duncan Robinson, who wasn't drafted out of Michigan, by the way. They got the largest contract for an undrafted player.
Jalen, would you pick this team to beat the Bucks in a 7-game series?
No.
Would you pick this team to beat the Nets in a 7-game?
No.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
That doesn't mean don't do moves. You're going to see Dennis Schroeder get paid. You're going to see Jared Allen get paid. You're going to see Dinwiddie probably go to the Wizards. Just because your team isn't the favorite to win it all, that doesn't mean you don't make moves to not only improve your squad, but this is also better for the game. It's better for the league. You saw the money being thrown around. Hey, Tommy, make the money rain. It was like $1.5 billion, okay? We affect the deficit in the NBA. And now all of a sudden, each team goes into the season that's made notable moves, that's did things during the draft, and they have promise, Jacoby. My Detroit Pistons have promise. Okay, we have motorcade.
What, Kelly
the, the Chicago Bulls, they have promise.
We'll get to them.
I'm just saying that's why you do these moves. This is terrific for the East. It's great for the game. I can't wait for this season.
It is great for the East. It is great for the game. I understand why they do these moves, but they are not going to contend for a title. And that is the question that I ask you. You won't say it. They are not going to contend for a title.
So, dog, like the margin is so very slim. Like I just don't think the Nets and the Bucks are like so much head and shoulders above them that they don't have to play their best in order to beat them.
Disagree.
I'm telling you, dog, because they're gonna defend. Like the one thing we not paying attention to, you're gonna show all KD offense, right? You're gonna show all Kyrie offense. Show some Harden offense too. But you know what you ain't gonna show? None of them in a defensive stand. That's what not KD do play D. Now they all play improved D, but I'm just saying that's the identity of the Miami Heat. You add Kyle Lowry, who's gonna give you toughness, take charges, sacrifice his body, and make threes. Duncan Robinson, the flat-out knockdown shooter type of sniper. We've seen what Jimmy can do. We've seen what Bam can do. I just told you about Eric Spoelstra. They are gonna be in the conversation. So now teams like Philadelphia are like, uh-oh, what we gonna do?
Yeah, Philadelphia and Boston are now looking.
You
at the
see what
East
I'm
like,
saying? That's what I'm saying.
Like we might not be hosting game one in the first round.
And remember, Boston was the team that made a few Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Philly was the team that was starting a process. Neither one of those teams got to the finals with those squads. Miami